Okay, so this video is really mostly going to be about what I usually take with me whenever I ride with my rodeo. Also, if you see me start like doing this, it's because it's freezing out here. It's really cold. We're supposed to get some snow tonight here in Southern Ohio. So, yeah. But anyways, this video is about what I take with me when I rodeo. So, yeah. So, first off, I'm going to start with something you don't necessarily really need to ride. I just like it. A hat. It's kind of silly, but I like to wear a hat because most of the time, whenever I go to the place I rodeo, there's a lot of dust in the air. And also, once I'm done riding, a lot of the senior bulls will kick dust and mud in the air. And I don't feel like getting that in my hair, and my beautiful hair. But anyways, I just wear mossy oak hat most of the time. It's comfy. But yeah, I just wear that. It's not necessarily something you need. And then the next thing I really want to talk about is boots. I always wear the same pair of Durango boots. I honestly think Durango is probably one of the best brands you can wear. I've wore other boots in the past. They don't feel the same as Durango. Durango also lasts a really long time. They're comfy. They're reliable. They're overall good boots. My feet almost never get sore in this pair. So, yeah, I really like Durango. They're comfy. They're good boots. And they don't wear down as easily as some other boots. I have a friend that I ride with, and his boots are torn up, and he's only worn them for like a couple months. So yeah, and they're not Durango, but yeah, I like Durango boots. I think they're really comfy. And then next thing, it's kind of an essential. Spurs. Honestly, I've wore other spurs in the past, not bull riding, but I've worn just, riding horses, and they don't feel the same as horse spurs. I like horse spurs because I feel like I can get them under the bull much easier. I feel like I can, okay, I'm not gonna even try, but I feel like whenever I'm riding, my feet, I'll start falling off, and I can get my feet under the bull. You'll see it in some of my videos. I can get my feet under the bull much easier and grip better. But anyways, I just like horse spurs. Most of the guys I ride with don't recommend horse spurs, but I feel like they're comfy. I mean, I wouldn't say take it from me to wear horse spurs. You can really wear whatever you like, but I feel like horse spurs are more comfy than regular spurs. Also, I've done it before. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I wouldn't say, the reason I say that is because I feel like you're gonna make that, I feel like if you get your spurs, if you tie down your spurs, a lot of times I've seen guys at my rodeo, they've had spurs tie down. Well, honestly, I don't know what it is, but the wheel on their spur get tied down, and they push it back into the bull to grip, and that bull just freaks out. I've even seen that will cause some hang-ups, because one of my friends, Caleb, he was riding one day, and he had his spurs tied, and he did it. One bull started bucking and went way too far forward, basically fell down on its knees. He rolled over, and he got hung up. So I wouldn't say it's an essential, but I would say spurs are really good. I don't really, I've done it before. It's not my favorite, but you can tie down your spurs if you want. I'm not gonna tell you what to do again. And then, really, next thing is just my strings for my spurs, well, for my boots, because I like strings more than I do tape, because I feel like tape comes undone really quickly. But strings don't do the same. They don't come undone as easily as tape would. So I just wear these leather strings. You won't see them in my videos, but I always have them on, so I always wear my jeans over my boots. But yeah. Anyways, next thing, you don't really have to be that nitpicky over it. It's not something you have to be like put hours into. Rosin is very important though. I will say you don't have to put hours in it. If you can just find a brand of rosin, that's good. But I'd honestly say, I'll just be 100% honest. I think off-brand rosin is better than some name brand rosin. I just got this at some rodeo store. It literally, I think it's stickier than, you know, that frost rosin. And I think it's called the bucking rosin. I'm not 100% sure. I think this just is more sticky. So yeah, you don't really have to be too nitpicky over it. I'd just say it's whatever. I've rode one time with frost rosin. It really wasn't the same. It didn't feel like that. It kind of feels weird. I'm not dogging on frost rosin, but I'll just say it's not the best. And then next off is my rope. Don't ask why it's so jumbled up. It was just in my bag. This is a new rope. I just got it. I will say it is really important to get a good rope, because I mean, I've even seen ropes snap before. It's not common, but they will. I've seen them get new ropes and they snap right here at this break. And that, you know, ropes are important. This is a good rope. It was like $200, which is a lot cheaper than some of the ropes I've seen. I've seen ropes up in, you know, thousands. If you go on Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, you'll literally find ropes that are up in $1,000. This is a good rope. I don't know if I already said it, but I probably did. It's an EPT bull rope. I've seen guys ride with them. I've gone and practiced stuff with them, and I don't find it as easy to get hung up in, because I've seen guys ride with them. I've looked up EPT bull riding. I don't see guys hardly ever get hung up in them. I want to say that's because the rope, or the tail, is made in a bit different way, so you can get your hand out way easier. So yeah, I like them. It's comfy. I got on practice stuff with it. It feels good. So yeah, EP2 bull ropes are good ropes. They're comfy. They're durable. I'd probably suggest you get an EP2 bull rope. But yeah, so that's my bull rope. And then next thing, I really don't suggest spending a bunch of money on a glove. This is literally just a goat leather glove, and it feels, I've tried on gloves at some rodeo stores that are made for bull riding. I really do think just buy a work glove. Here's the thing, the only problem with work gloves is whenever you're heating up your rosin, I do find it a bit more easier to burn through, but they feel comfy. They feel good. The one time I have rode with a real bull riding glove, I honestly had a worse experience, because it was the first time I ever rode. When they pulled my rope, it like, I don't know how to explain it. It felt way worse than these. every time I've rode, I've had better rides than my first time, as you can tell. I'm still not that good, but I've always rode with work gloves, and I've had some really big guys pull my rope, and it felt better, honestly. I felt more like my hand was squeezed in there. And the guy that pulled my rope the first time, he wasn't, the strongest guy. There's one guy on my rodeo, he's like 6'4", 300 pounds, and he was super strong, pulled my rope. And I was wearing this exact glove. It felt better. I felt like my hand was more squished, and I couldn't close my hand as well whenever I wore a real rodeo glove. So I just say, wear these, buy some tape. And yeah, it's just, I don't like the sheep and cow leather ones as much as I do the goat leather. I feel like they feel a bit more itchy. It's cold out here. But yeah, I'd say just, do you. But I'd just say get a work glove. You can buy them at Rural King or Tractor Supply for like $20. You can even I'm pretty sure you can go to Menards or Lowe's, and you can just buy a pair of work gloves for, $15, $20. So, whatever, stores available, you can go to. And then, talking about tape, brings me to my next thing, tape. It's medical tape. I'm using medical tape, mostly. And, I find it better than really any other tape. You can buy sports tape. It feels good, but I feel like medical tape is a lot more sticky and it lasts longer on your glove. So you can really get your glove tighter. Well, yeah, snug. But anyways, I really suggest do not buy tape from a store if you can. I'd just say probably go to if you're at your rodeo company. I don't know why I said rodeo company. If you're at the place of your rodeo, I bet 99.9% of the time there's gonna be some kid there and he's like, I got a roll of tape for $10. Tape is one of those things because you really should try and find somebody at your rodeo that's selling it, because I've seen tape like this at stores, $30, $35. That's expensive for a roll of tape this big. It's barely bigger than the palm of my hand. It's actually smaller than the palm of my hand. So I'd just say buy a roll of tape from somebody at your rodeo. I got this for $10. It's much cheaper than, $30 at, some store. But if you can't, then, spend that $30. Next, lighters. You do not in the slightest bit have to be nitpicky. But I will say, if you are feeling, nitpicky, buy a blink lighter. They're much easier. Like, I've used some lighters, and some of the guys are like, buy a blink lighter because, hold up, this thing's in lock. I can press the button much easier, and, I'm not left-handed. So whenever I'm, trying to heat up my rosin with another torch, it's, a lot harder to press down on that button, but, like, I can do it very easily with my left hand with blink lighters. So, yeah. Well, then I have one more thing. Belts. This is literally, you don't have to be nitpicky in the slightest bit. You can just buy really any belt. But I do say get leather belts or like polyester belts, because I feel like other belts will snap easier. So I'd say get a leather or polyester belt. And then jeans, I wear literally the same time I always ride. I just wear a pair of Wrangler jeans. They're comfy, feel good. And then also I'd suggest, these are just Canes. but I'd suggest buy a pair of tennis shoes, or just bring a pair of tennis shoes that you don't really care to get dirty to ride, because I do it because, sometimes maybe, my boots are feeling uncomfy someday, but that's hardly ever happened. Just buy a pair to, especially if you're not wearing Durango boots. Just buy a pair, or wear a pair of tennis shoes, because these are just, much more comfy on your feet if you're not wearing Durango boots. So yeah, just buy a pair of tennis shoes probably. And then bags, you can literally just look up good bag companies, good duffel bag companies. This is just a bag I got from football. It's just a Jackson Ironman bag. Go Ironman. But anyways, just probably look up good bag companies. You can custom design these. So yeah. But yeah, that's my bag for bull riding. You can do whatever you want, but I'd just suggest those things. So I have one more thing to say. If you want, I'm not gonna make you. I'd suggest subscribing, because we're almost to 100 subscribers. So I'd probably subscribe. It's your choice. I'm not gonna make you subscribe, like, comment, whatever. But that is my bull riding bag. Goodbye.